Hi, you guys. Trisha Funk here, Executive Director of Pennies on Purpose. And I posted a video in my for-profit Trisha Funk Finances with Funk page that I realized today that actually probably would have been really helpful to post here on the Pennies on Purpose page, because this really relates to raising financially smart teens and how do we navigate like the teenage years with our kids and support them in making like really smart financial decisions. So I came home late this afternoon because our air conditioner is out in Redding, California, which if you know anything about Redding, California, you know it's hot as Hades in Northern California this time of year, and it's raining. So I don't know, I'm sitting out on my back porch, so I don't know if you guys can hear the rain, which is an amazing blessing because we have a horrible fire going just to the north of us. So let's jump in. So thank the Lord for a little bit of rain, even if it's not going to be really soaking the ground. Just that little bit of rain just feels so refreshing to our souls here in this Northern California area. So let's jump into the conversation of what I want to talk about and what I shared on my private for-profit page. There's this question all the time about how do we navigate our teens, especially as they start to get older, with this level of balancing needs and wants, right? As parents, oftentimes we just budget and account for those needs, but our teens generally reach a point where we are no longer really supporting their needs anymore. We're supporting a whole bunch of their wants. And so the question that I get asked often is, what is the right number? What's the right dollar amount that I contribute for my teens? What's the right dollar amount that I expect them to contribute? And the horrible right answer to that question is there's no right answer. So there's a couple things that's going to determine, but more than that, what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to give you some strategy of exactly how to navigate making the right decisions specifically for you and your family. So every family is different. So you may have a child that you are comfortable participating in rec sports and school sports, and they have a really strong desire to play competitive travel sports. And you may not be comfortable paying that. Or you may be comfortable paying a portion of that, but not necessarily the whole portion, because you want to make sure that they are as bought in to this activity as you are financially investing in it, right? So it's totally okay to say, I support you in things that you excel at and are very dedicated at, and you continue to show up and you're as passionate about this. But the moment that you are no longer passionate about this, the moment that you no longer are dedicated to this, then I financially cannot support that, right? It's also okay to say, this is what we're willing to financially support, and here's the difference, and let's help you come up with some ways that you can raise those funds or earn that money or whatever to be able to do that. So the point is not that there is a set and hard and fast dollar amount that's going to be right for any family, because every single one of us parent differently. Every single one of us are in a different financial situation, and every single one of us have different financial priorities. And what is more important than setting those specific set dollar amounts that's the right thing to do for us and for our teens is to identify what is right for us as a family, and that means spouses on the same page having pre-conversations about that before there's ever a conversation with the teenager. It also means, especially if you're co-parenting, like this is more important to do than anything, is having a conversation and saying, this is what the need is, or this is what the want is. This is what I feel like would be a reasonable expectation for them to participate in. Are you on the same page? What are your thoughts on this? Like, how can we come together and be united on this decision and communicate that clearly? Because what doesn't work when we're parenting our teens, especially with money, is for us to be ambiguous or for us to set no like boundaries or constraints. Then they go off to college with an expectation that we're going to provide the entire ride, when all along we've had an expectation that, hey, you're going to contribute in X, Y, or Z, right? So whether that looks like you're going to be responsible for buying your own car because we financially just can't afford it, or we personally believe that that's something that you need to take the responsibility on, so you have a different sense of ownership over that vehicle than what we would have, but we're going to pay for your school to and from, your gas to and from school, which may be cheaper to buy the car these days, or that we are going to pay for your insurance, but you're going to have to buy the car, or we expect you to contribute $1,000 towards your car for that. It doesn't, there's no right answer, but it is about just being very clear and straightforward about what those expectations are. That takes all of the emotion out of the entire conversation. It isn't like, well, you're only paying you want me to pay $1,000 towards the car. You want me to buy the whole car because we've been fighting lately and I won't clean my room the way you want, right? Like, we tend to get all wrapped up in emotions. We do it ourselves as adults in decisions and conversations, especially when it comes around money. So the more transparent and authentic we can be, the more just straightforward about the facts that we can be with our teens and navigating those situations, the better that it is, and the more it's going to keep the relationship together and be so much less frustrating for us as parents, for our teens, trying to navigate the world and understand expectations and be able to plan for it. Because truly, like, our teens, when we do things like that, where they spend and then we get really mad at them because they spent so much money on back to school clothes when we were only planning on them spending a set dollar amount, and we didn't communicate that properly to them. We didn't present those expectations to them totally transparently. Then how would they know? So they don't feel safe in that space. They also may be feeling a little bit of embarrassment that they did something wrong, and that's not what we want to create for our teens moving forward and them moving into their adulthood, is any piece of shame or embarrassment or anything else about making financial decisions. So transparency and communication with them is absolutely loving them well and helping them to understand expectations, and then empowering them to figure the rest out. So that's my answer that is a non-answer, because there's no right answer. But you guys as parents have amazing ability to just really be thoughtful about it, set those expectations super, super clearly, and then support them in figuring the rest of it out and taking all of the emotions out of the conversation. So hopefully that helps. Leave a comment or something if there's additional questions you have, or if there's something that you're struggling with, and I promise that I'll jump back on and answer it, or at least answer it in the comments. Have a great evening.